I've got a wonderful story for you today, all about Rudolph's biggest adventure. Would you like to hear about that? It's a wonderful story, all about how he came to be, how he came at the North Pole, or how he got his name. Still don't know why his nose is red and it glows, but who cares? Let me tell you the story. Well, you see, every year I fly down to Lapland and I get lichen weed for the flying reindeer because it makes all their fur go very coarse and helps them to fly much faster, doesn't it? Of course it does. And that's what Santa does every year. This one year I went down and I flew down there and there was snow all around, and over by a tree I could see something move, and I thought, oh dear me, is it a wolf? No. Polar bear? No, it's too far south for polar bears. And I walked over very carefully, and there was the smallest little reindeer. Oh dear me. Didn't have any horns yet, obviously, too small. And I looked all around and there was no mum and dad there, so he must have got lost. And he was tucked against this tree so tight, but he was starving, I could tell. Oh dear me. So Santa put him in his sleigh. We flew right the way back to the North Pole. I said, Mrs. Claus, come quick, come quick. And we all had a little look at this lovely reindeer. We put him in front of the fire to get him nice and warm. I tried to feed him a carrot and he didn't want a carrot. He wouldn't drink milk. He wouldn't drink water. Oh, it wasn't good at all. Oh, why won't he? Dear me, he's going to die if he doesn't. Oh, and we sat in our big chairs right in front of the fire with a little reindeer at our feet, and we both fell asleep, fast asleep. So did the reindeer. And then 6 o'clock the next morning there was a big crash. The reindeer had stepped on the plate in the grate, and it made a heck of a noise. But he'd eaten the carrots, drunk the milk, obviously had a little sip of water, which was very good, very pleased with that, and he was standing up. And I said, how wonderful to see you, welcome to the North Pole. And he moved his head from side to side, and that was the first time I noticed he didn't have a black nose like most reindeer. It was more of a red colour. Yes, it was. And I thought, well, I'm not going to worry about that. I said to Mrs. Claus, listen, I better go and check the toy shop is open and all those elves are doing their work. I have 243 of my best elves. And I said, I better go. And just then the reindeer snuggled in under my arm. I said, you want to come too, do you? And he started to jump around and get excited. And we walked out and I put my hands on the big railings. I said, good morning, elves. And all the elves looked up and said, good morning, Santa. I said, look, I've got a wonderful surprise here today. I've got a little reindeer I found, and he's getting well, so hopefully he'll be strong very soon. And I don't have a name for him. So I'm going to challenge all of you elves. Whoever comes up with the best name can come and have a feast with Mrs. Claus and Santa Claus on Sunday. We do very good feasts. Lots of mince pies. And they all got excited and they started to shout out names. Oh, what names were there? Patch and Buddy. Oh, yes. And then there was Flip. Don't know where that came from. Tiny and Carrot. And then all of a sudden a little tug on my arm, on my sleeve. And little Jojo the elf. Now Jojo's a very, very good worker. She got little fingers and she does all the best work. And she said, Santa, what about Rudolph? And all of a sudden I looked down and I said, what do you think then, Rudolph? And the reindeer started jumping around, getting very excited. And then it happened. Its nose started to glow. Wow! Everyone, all the elves, they looked on and they went, open mouths and big eyes, just like Santa. And the more he jumped round, the brighter the nose got. In the end, it got so bright, a lot of the elves were putting their sleeves up to them. A lot of them were pulling their hats down over their eyes because they couldn't stand the light. It was so bright. And I said, calm down, Rudolph. But it was wonderful to have. Then, when Christmas came a bit closer, we had something go really wrong. Now, Charlie's our head elf, and one of his elf workers had tripped over something, one of the toys, and he fell into the tree. Now, it wouldn't be, it's not really funny, I know. And the tree fell over, and all the lights fused, and all the lights in Toyland went out. I thought, oh no, we can't be without electric. We need the electric for the travelators and the and the other escalators and all the other ators. They're all the toys go along back and forth and they're all fixed on, isn't it? Of course it is. Oh, I wish I could take you to the North Pole. You could see it. Would you like that? You would. I'm sure you would. Yes. So coming back to the story. Everything was in darkness. I said, elves, no one move. I'm coming down to fix it. But before I could do anything else, there was the brightest light. Started dimly at first, and then got brighter and brighter and brighter. It was Rudolph's nose. I said, keep shining, Rudolph. And I fixed all the electrics, and everything was running. And that was great. Then we come to Christmas Eve. Yes, Christmas Eve. Wow. How wonderful. Most exciting time for Santa. Now, one of the things you have to know is that I was going to put Rudolph in the stable with my flying reindeer. Now, you know their names, don't you? How do they line up on the sleigh? Well, in the stable, they line up exactly the same way. Dasher and Dancer and Prancer and Vixen, Comet and Cupid and Donner and Blitzen. Easy, isn't it? Of course it is. And I said to Donner and Blitzen, could you have Rudolph just between you? And they didn't mind. But then the next day, they wouldn't let it. Do you know why? Because Rudolph snores. Do your parents snore? Do you know someone that snores? Is it you? Some children snore, you know. I don't think Santa does, although Mrs. Claus says I do. Well, Rudolph, every time Rudolph snored, nose went on and off, all the time, all through the night, keeping the other reindeer awake. So I had to make a special stable, separate, all for Rudolph. And Rudolph loves it, absolutely loves it. Thinks he's the king because the other 8 have to share, but he doesn't, does he? Well, Christmas Eve came round and Charlie's my head elf, and so is Trixie. And Charlie came to me and he said, it's not looking good over Mediterranean, Santa. I said, why is that? And he said, look at this. And we have a Santa nav. It's a big round screen. Now it's where I watch, and Charlie watches, for all the good and the naughty children. Oh, yes, it is. And I said, wow, that is amazing. Oh, look at that fog down there. It covers Italy, Greece. Wow. I'm not going to be able to deliver those countries unless we can find a way. Do you know a way in which I could deliver through the fog? Of course you do, because you know the song. Yes, you do. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose. You know the song, of course you do. That's right. So I said, do you think your nose could be bright enough, Rudolph? And he started jumping around, getting excited. So we put all the other 8 reindeer, we tied them all up, put Rudolph at the front, and we tied him up. And I said, Rudolph, you don't know what it's like to fly. I hope you're okay. And then I got some magic sprinkle dust. I threw it all over the reindeer. I said, now on Dasher and Dancer and Prancer and Vixen, Comet and Cupid and Donner and Blitzen and Rudolph. let's go. And the elves opened the big doors and the snow came rushing in, as it usually does with the wind at the North Pole. And we flew right the way out. All of a sudden, when I put the magic sprinkle dust, it rises off the floor about 12 inches and then 2 foot. And we went out into the snow. Well, we got down to the Mediterranean. Wow. Now the fog was all over Spain, France, Switzerland, Italy, Greece, Cyprus, Crete. Oh, I have never seen one bank of fog so big in my life. And I said, Rudolph, I'm going to need your nose to glow really bright. And all of a sudden I could see a glow in the distance. I said, Rudolph, that's not bright enough. But I think he was just warming up because it got so bright. So bright. It was amazing. I could see everything through the fog. And we delivered all the presents that year. And then we went back to the North Pole, which is a wonderful place to be. And Santa had his favourite drink. And you know what that is, don't you? Yes. No, not whiskey, not alcohol. Santa doesn't drink alcohol, though. I know your mum sometimes leaves alcohol and a sherry and something else out for Santa. I don't drink that. I'm a sort of milk guy myself. And of course mince pies. Yes, and of course, that's right, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. He's been with Santa ever since. We have the most amazing times together and stories. I hope you enjoyed this story. And there'll be plenty more to come soon, won't there? Of course there will. Until then, I want you to do 2 things for me. Will you do that? Because these are very tough times, aren't they? I want you to be safe and I want you to take care. Could you do that for Santa? Of course you can. Maybe you could sing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer after I'm gone. And maybe I'll sing it myself all the way through very soon. What about that? That would be something else, wouldn't it? Until then, thank you very much for joining Santa, and I will see you soon.